welcome back to my channel, Mega Victoria. Today, ladies and gents, we are doing this gorgeous makeup. I love this, darling. Now, why am I speaking like this? Well, I am attending a Charlotte Tilbury event today. I am so excited, and I'm obsessed with Charlotte Tilbury. She is like the one of my like very few people who I'm like starstruck by. I'm just like, hello, goddess. But I really want to channel this really beautiful Charlotte Tilbury Rosie Huntington-whiteley like inspired makeup look. Just make it very romantic and beautiful and glowy and soft and girly and all those great adjectives. So if you are on board with this vibe and you'd like to see how we get this gorgeous makeup look, then please just keep on watching. So because my skincare is like really soaked into my skin, I don't find that I need another moisturizer or primer, but what I am going to use is some oil, just because I do find the Makeup Forever, like as I've said a million times, like I love this foundation, but I do like it a little bit more glowy, so I just like, you know, DIY my own glow. So I'm just gonna pop on some primer. Oh yeah, I was testing another foundation, ignore that. And we'll just rub that into the skin. And I'm not trying to like do so much oil, like just, you know, a nice little layer that's just gonna give the foundation a little bit more slip. Then we're gonna go in with our Makeup Forever matte velvet skin eye tried. And I'll just apply that. I'm going to just try applying this with my fingers. I've never done it, but I think with the oil it'll be really nice. And because I do want that really glowy, healthy skin look, I find the fingers may actually give me a really natural look that I'm going for. Just to kind of finish it all off, I'm just going to take my sponge and kind of sponge it out. Alright, I am super happy how the skin looks. So next I'm going to go in and we're going to take some Eve Pearl Salmon Concealer just to brighten up the under eye area. Just patting that in, and then we're going to go in with some Pure Cosmetics concealer, and this is just like really nice and yellow, so it just really conceals any under eye dark circles, which is awesome. And when I go to events, I do kind of try and plan my look to be a little bit more like it goes with the brand itself. And it's a smart business decision, yes, but I also find it's really fun, and it's just like fun to, you know, get inspo from that brand. So I think with Charlotte Tilbury, it's like all just glowy, beautiful gorgeousness. Basically, like Charlotte Tilbury is, I think, the brand that aligns with me the most. And I obviously am obsessed with Charlotte, so like we've been through this. But I'm really kind of trying to channel that in, so I'm not trying to do so much like cakey makeup today. Just really trying to like do really beautiful, beautiful makeup. So next I'm going to take some IT Cosmetics by my under eye, and we're going to use that to really brighten and bounce the light back under the eyes. And just kind of work this in with my finger as well. It's true, like listen to makeup artists, like the warmth of your finger is honestly one of the best tools you have. So really like take advantage of it, because it's such a beautiful thing to be able to like warm up product and then it just kind of all melts together. I wasn't going to do this, but just because I do like a really like high cheekbone, I think I'm just going to take a just a couple dots, just so almost the concealer blends in with my foundation and like creates a lighter shade, rather than like, you know, a lot of concealer. But I just want to lift my cheekbone the littlest bit, so I'm just taking a little bit of that Colourpop and just bouncing that right where the cheekbone is. Okay, so more glow. We're going to take the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Soft Light. I'm going to just pop a little bit on the back of my hand. I'm just going to work this onto the high points of the face, so the tops of the cheekbones, the tip of my nose, and the Cupid's bow. Then I'll just take kind of whatever's left over. And this is a good tip also, because you can just take this, and now I'm going to work that obviously like where we place the highlighter, but sweeping it just underneath the eyes, and just that leftover product will just really bounce back the light underneath the eye. I feel like I haven't brought this guy out in so long, but I'm going to just take a little bit, my Makeup Forever 177, and I'm just gonna like add like 2 dots. So I'm kind of still doing all the steps that I normally do, but I'm just doing them very subtly. So just kind of work that into the skin and blend that out. But you can see how it just will give the cheekbone a nice definition. And then a little bit of warmth around the top of the face. Really love this NYX sponge. I think this is like one of the best sponges I've used. Alright, so we're going to go into our JLo bronzer. I'm a big fan of this bronzer, as you guys know. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit on my brush, but I'm really going to tap off the excess. So as you can see, we're really going for like all the steps, but just very light application. So I'm also going to pinch this because I do want this to kind of just raise the cheekbone a little bit more than like doing an all over. And I'm just slowly kind of building up that warmth. I kind of forgot I own this little palette from Eve Curl, and I absolutely, like, I used to love this so much. So when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, we need to bring this out. So these, like, it's a blush, a highlight, and a bronzer shade, but the blush is very much like Orgasm. Like, it's just like so pink and flushed and beautiful. So I definitely want to use this, but I want to create a little bit of a base to keep everything very like rosy, like, you know, Rosie Huntington obviously, but like a little bit more rosy in general. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of this guy right here, this berry kind of color, tap off my brush, and then I'm going to apply it more to the center of the apples. Because I want this like very flushed, romantic look. Once you apply it to the like center of the apples, then you can kind of sweep it back. And then right on top, just to get a little bit more shimmer and dimension, I'm going to grab a little bit of that pinky guy and just apply that. It's almost going to like blend it out just because it's a pinkier tone rather than a rosier tone. But we're getting so much dimension in the cheeks. I don't know if you can see it, but it's so, so beautiful. For highlight, we already have a little bit of a cream highlight. We have lots of dimension, but I'm going to take this Lancome highlight. They're pretty intense, so I think I'm just going to take my finger, and it's just like a very nice neutral kind of tone, and I'm just going to kind of tap on the highlight. And I'm really going to round it around so it follows the bone structure of my face. Then, once we have that, I'm just going to take my little sponge and we'll just melt the highlighter into the skin. There's so much glow and romance happening in the face. I think it's so, so beautiful. Now, before we move on to the eyes, I want to just take a little bit of Mist and Fix, and I'm just going to spray this. I'm just going to melt all the products together. Okay, if you feel like you need to set the under eyes, I'm looking. I wanted to see how my eyes would be just because it's not so hot out today, and usually like I'm pretty okay. But I think we're going to do a little bit, so I'm just going to take my RCMA powder, grab it on just a little tiny little detail-y brush, just so I can lightly powder underneath. But that's all I want to do. I don't want to like heavily bake or powder anything, just really, really soft. Then you can go just where you need it, right around the nose, maybe the center of the forehead. But now that is the face makeup complete, probably, maybe, we'll see. And let's move on to brows. I'm going to take my Brow Archnemisis from Pure, so this is new. It's got two sides, which is really cool. So it has your thicker side, so you can really like just get some body and volume and just like go to town. But then we also have this nice defining side, so it's nice and thin, so you can kind of do those like little featherly, you know, brow-like strokes, which is lovely. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take the thick side first, and I'm just going to run it through just so I can get some volume in my brows. I'm really going to try not to make them too defined because I do want them very natural, and especially every time I've seen Rosie's brows, they're so like soft and beautiful. They're never like a line underneath, so I just kind of want to fill in and get some volume. I do kind of have to draw in my tail on the end for this guy, but I'm still trying to keep it like fairly like natural and not, you know, super drawn in. Run the pencil through kind of the front part of the brow without kind of going to the like edges. So now I can switch over and grab the little guy, and just for the front, if I want a little bit more definition, I'm just going to draw in stroke by stroke. And I can even just blend with my fingers. Yeah, that's pretty much the brows. I don't want to do too much to them. They're really natural, really, really beautiful. They actually turned out fantastically. So I'm just going to run some brow gel through these guys to set them in place. But that is our brows. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the shade Toasty, and I'm going to grab a little bit of that just as a transition shade. This is just a nice like taupey kind of brown, so it'll just work into the eyes really nicely, just to give them a little bit of shape. I do like to take this pretty high up, and that's just mostly because of my eye shape, so you know, you can decide like what works best for you. But I have been getting some questions like saying that, Megan, you take your eyeshadow really high, and I'm like, yeah, I have a lot of space, so I like to use it as much as I can. So I'm already going to just take that Toasty shade and run it underneath my lash line, I just kind of want to make sure everything that I do to the top, I do to the bottom, and there's just like an all around like sense of cohesiveness within the whole look. And do that, and then if it's a little bit much, I'm gonna just softly blend it. As much as I want this look soft, I do want some definition, so my palette literally breaks all the time. But we're gonna go into our pure Visionary palette. I'm gonna grab the shade Tycoon, so it's just a nice chocolatey brown, and then I'm just going to take that and I'm just going to kind of feather that on the outer corner. Just kind of just laying down the color and then just kind of swishing it around to get that blend. And something else you may notice is I'm not kind of doing that whole outer V thing per se. I'm more just taking the shadow up and out because I just kind of want to wing the eye a little bit more. So it's on a little bit of an angle where we take the shadow placement. I need something shimmery and beautiful, so I'm going to go into my lovely Born to Run palette. I'm going to take the shade, I think, Blaze. Yeah, this really beautiful like warm gold shade, and I can just take it on my finger, and then we'll apply that just by pressing that on. It almost has like this pinky shift to it. It's so pretty. I think it's like a nice warm neutral, but it's got a little bit of something. And you can also just take that into the inner corner, so you're really getting that shimmer and shine there as well. I'm just going to take my nice big blending brush and kind of just blend the shades together. And lastly, we're just going to go in, I'm going to take a little bit of Breakaway, a little bit of Blaze, just those lighter shades, and just give myself a nice glowy brow bone pop. I'm going to go do my liner, lashes, and I will come back and we'll move on to the lips. Alright, so we are back. So what we need to do to finish off this look is an amazing Rosie Huntington lip. And believe it or not, I actually just like found my the lipstick I'm going to use, right, and my bag, and I was like, I need to do a look off this. And I was like, it's so rosy, I want to do a rose lip, blah blah blah. And they just like stemmed into this whole Rosie Huntington vibe. So it's kind of funny how that works out. But yes, we need a rose lip. That was the whole goal of this makeup tutorial, which I think is perfect. The way we have a little bit of a pinky shift up here, it's going to all like play together so nicely. So I've had some lip balm sitting on my lips for a little bit, so I just wiped that off. And now I'm going to go in with my Boldly Bare lip liner. So, and then what we're going to do to get that beautiful color is I'm going to take the Pixi liquid lipstick, and this one's called Really Rose. And I really want to be very, I want to apply this very thinly. I don't want a super globby, liquid lipstick painted look. I want it to very much go with the skin. So I'm just going to lightly apply this. How pretty is this color? Oh my god. So I don't want a liquid lipstick look. That I've made very clear. You want very fresh, you want the lip look, right? So this is pretty much dry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with some Nude Stix. This is the shade Sin, and it's just got a little bit more of a gel formula, so it's going to give us that nice lipsticky look. Just to apply that to the center, and you can already see how it gives a little bit more of a sheen. Yeah, see how it just gave a little bit more? And I'm just going to pat it all together. And it's okay if you kind of go outside the line. It gives this really, it looks more natural when it's not such a defined line. So I just kind of like to press right on the line. So now that we've had our makeup sit in our face for a little bit, you can see how it's kind of reacting. So I'm just going to add a little bit of powder right there, right to the center of the face. Alright guys, so there we have it. I hope you enjoy. I love this look so much. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. If you want to see any other celeb-inspired makeup looks, let me know. This was actually really fun to kind of have more of a vibe, and I love having a vibe anyway. So if you'd like to see that, please let me know down below. And other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! Mwah!